At the beginning of the drama, we see a group of children talking about their dreams and what they want to become in the future. One child says, "I want to become a doctor." Another says, "I want to become an engineer." But one little girl says that she wants to become extremely rich so that when she grows up, she can do whatever she wants without depending on anyone. And now, that little girl has actually grown up and become rich. Her name is Duchess, and she is the female lead of our drama. Then we see Duchess arriving in another city because she wants to rent a room. She tells herself that she doesn't have many belongings with her. There, she meets the building owner, Miss Jam, who tells her that there are no rooms available. Just then, Miss Jam's son, Sky, looks at Duchess and says, "If you're so rich, why are you trying to live here?" Duchess explains that the place where she was supposed to stay had already been rented to someone else. Someone had told her that she could find a room here, but now it looks like there isn't one available either. So Duchess turns around and starts leaving. But then she deliberately drops a bundle of money on the floor. Miss Jam immediately notices it and suddenly remembers that she actually does have a room available. She acts as if she had simply forgotten because of her old age and quickly offers the room to Duchess. Duchess goes to see the room and is shocked because it is extremely small. She complains that she only uses Italian furniture and wonders how she is supposed to fit all her expensive belongings inside such a tiny room. After bringing her things inside, Sky tells her that some of her belongings are still downstairs and asks where she plans to keep them. Duchess simply tells him to arrange another room for her. Just then, another girl named Mimi arrives looking for a room to rent. Duchess doesn't want anyone to rent the room opposite hers, so she secretly tells Sky to make up a scary ghost story about it. Her plan is to scare Mimi so badly that she won't even think about renting that room. Sky starts telling Mimi the scary story, and Mimi gets frightened after hearing it. She immediately runs away to her room. Sky looks at Duchess and says that her plan has worked perfectly. The next day, Duchess gets ready and goes to a very special place called the Rich Club. Only children from wealthy families are allowed to enter this club, and Duchess has always dreamed of becoming a member. Standing outside, she excitedly imagines herself becoming part of the club and says that from now on, her poster will also be hanging on the Rich Club's wall. She becomes so excited that she starts laughing like crazy. Meanwhile, another boy named Krathing is being chased by 3 girls. While running away from them, he suddenly crashes into Duchess. Duchess becomes extremely annoyed and thinks to herself, "What a strange guy." But Krathing has bigger problems because the 3 girls are still chasing him. Then we see Krathing secretly recording some girls while they are changing clothes. The girls suddenly notice him and become furious. They start chasing him again. Krathing runs into a room and quickly hides inside a locker. Just then, Tan arrives and asks him, "What are you doing here?" Krathing says that he doesn't have time to explain and asks Tan to close the gate, but Tan doesn't close it. So Krathing calls him Mr. Sweetface and begs him to close the gate. Tan finally closes it and Krathing asks him not to tell anyone that he is hiding there. Unfortunately, the 3 girls soon arrive and ask Tan if Krathing is inside. Tan immediately tells them that he is hiding inside. From inside the locker, Krathing desperately says that there is nobody inside, but the girls don't believe him. They open the gate and discover him, while Krathing starts screaming. Meanwhile, Duchess is having her own problem outside the Rich Club because the guard refuses to let her enter. Duchess confidently tells him that she is very rich, but the guard explains that only invited people are allowed inside. Duchess even tries to offer him money so that he will let her in, but the guard refuses to take it. Duchess insists that she wants to enter. Just then, several girls walk into the club without any problem. Duchess becomes confused and asks how those girls were allowed inside. At that moment, 2 students approach her and introduce the girls as the Rich Angels. They explain that one of them is Krite. She comes from an extremely wealthy family. Her father is a high-ranking police officer, while her mother is a doctor. Then they introduce another girl named Fasai, who doesn't talk much. And finally, they introduce the leader of their group, Honey. Fasai has been with Honey since childhood, and after they all entered this college, the other girls also joined Honey's group. Their group is called the Rich Angels. Duchess then asks the 2 students who they are. One of them introduces himself as Prim, while the other is Mook. Prim jokes that Mook will probably become a soldier's wife someday, but Mook says that she actually wants to marry a soldier. Duchess finds the 2 of them hilarious and starts laughing. Meanwhile, the 3 girls who were chasing Krathing finally catch him and demand to know which one of them Kunka has chosen. Krathing tells them that Kunka said he couldn't choose between them. Then, trying to show off, Krathing tells the girls not to worry because he can accept all three of them himself. Everyone looks at him in surprise. Krathing confidently says that he is better than Kunka, that he is good-looking, and that they should choose which one of them wants to become his girlfriend. But instead of being impressed, all three girls reject him. They simply walk away, leaving Krathing standing there. Krathing then moves away from Tan. In the next scene, the three rich angels approach Duchess and ask if they have heard correctly that she wants to join the rich club. Duchess happily says yes. She explains that she is also very rich, but the guard didn't allow her to enter. She saw the three girls entering easily and asks if they are members of the rich club. Honey says that she isn't officially a member yet, but she will become one very soon. Krate, however, says that she is already an official member and that she had only brought the others there to visit. Duchess immediately says that she also wants to become a member of the rich club. Honey then asks Duchess about her family's business. Duchess proudly explains that her father owns a very large soy milk business. Honey then ignores the others and makes it clear that she is talking to Duchess, not them. After hearing about Duchess's wealthy background, Honey decides to add her to their group. But before Duchess can celebrate, the group explains their strict rules. Rule number 1. Whenever the members meet each other, they must wear designer clothes. Rule number 2. Only the group leader, Honey, is allowed to add new members to the group. Rule number 3. Everyone must change their profile picture every week. Rule number 4. Every member must check their weight every week and report it in the group. If their weight increases by the following week, they must go on a diet. And rule number 5, nobody is allowed to show their face without makeup. They must also always use their full names. Prim becomes shocked after hearing so many rules and asks why there are so many of them. Duchess, however, doesn't care about the rules. She simply asks whether following all these rules will make her an official member of the rich club. Honey tells her that it won't. Krate then explains that Duchess can only become an official rich club member after the club's board members approve her application. She also says that the board members will release the application form very soon, and they will inform Duchess as soon as it is available. With that, the girls leave. And now Duchess finally has a chance to achieve the dream she has had since childhood, to become an official member of the Rich Club. After the rich angels leave, Mook tells Duchess that she shouldn't hang out with those girls because they always look down on other people and aren't good people at all. She even jokes that she feels like hitting the rubber bands on their faces. Prim then warns Mook not to let her father find out that she likes boys. Duchess, however, tells them not to judge the girls and says she doesn't think they are bad. After all, they are rich, and she is rich too. Prim simply says, "Okay, do whatever you want." Just then, both of them receive a message, and they become extremely happy after reading it because their registration has finally been confirmed. Duchess asks what registration they are talking about. Mook asks her if she hasn't chosen her subject yet because the registration deadline is almost over. She warns Duchess that if she doesn't choose the human communication class soon, she will have a problem. Duchess immediately decides to register, but Mook tells her that she can't do it from her phone and needs to use a computer. So Duchess quickly rushes to the computer lab. There, she sees another student choosing his subject and asks him which subject he is registering for. He tells her, and Duchess starts copying all his information. She even accidentally types his name before realizing that she is supposed to enter her own name. When Duchess finally tries to apply, her application is rejected because all the seats have already been filled. Meanwhile, the student sitting beside her successfully gets a seat. Duchess offers him money and asks him to give her his seat, but the boy completely ignores her. Then Mook and Prim arrive and tell Duchess that the registration is already closed. Duchess becomes worried and asks what she is supposed to do now. But they tell her not to worry because there is a senior student who can hack the computer system and get her a seat. They explain that he studies computer engineering and has even won awards for hacking. His name is Kun Kao. The moment Duchess hears that name, she remembers a boy from her childhood who was also named Kun Kao. But then she tells herself that it can't possibly be the same person, because Kun Kao is probably a common name, and there could be many people with that name. Meanwhile, Mook and Prim wonder who Duchess is talking to. Prim tells her to hurry up and go meet Kun Kao. Duchess starts running and eventually reaches a hall. There, she spots Kun Kao and immediately panics. She says that she can't meet him right now and quickly hides underneath a table. Duchess silently hopes that nobody will find her there. But just then, Krathing arrives and asks what she is doing there. He quickly realizes that Duchess is hiding from someone. Duchess denies it, but Krathing is about to tell everyone, so Duchess desperately stops him. Krathing then says that he talks a lot and can't keep secrets. Duchess offers him money to stay quiet. She gives him 7,000, and Krathing happily says that today must be his lucky day. Meanwhile, Honey comes and sits beside Kun Kao. Suddenly, the lights go out. Duchess turns on her phone's flashlight and asks someone to turn the light off. As Duchess and Kun Kao are sitting there, they watch a report about Kun Kao on television. The report explains that students from different countries participated in a major competition, and Kun Kao became one of the most successful students. Duchess becomes extremely excited after seeing him. Krathing notices her reaction and asks if she likes Kun Kao. Duchess immediately denies it and begs Krathing not to tell anyone. But Krathing says he can tell just by looking at her that she definitely likes him. Just then, Kun Kao finally enters the room. He is extremely popular around the college. Duchess becomes nervous and again tells Krathing not to tell him that she likes him. But Krathing reminds her that he talks too much and can't stay quiet. Duchess then gives him her entire purse and tells him to keep all the money, as long as he keeps his mouth shut. After that, she quickly leaves the room. Kun Kao asks Krathing who the girl was. Krathing says he doesn't know, but he admits that teasing her was really fun. Kun Kao then says that the girl was actually quite cute. Krathing continues watching Duchess, while Honey also looks in her direction. Then Krathing reminds Kun Kao that he helped him get rid of those 3 girls who were chasing him and asks him to pay his money. Kun Kao is surprised that Krathing actually expects to be paid for it. In the next scene, we see Krathing tutoring Sky, Miss Jam's son. After finishing his work, Krathing asks Miss Jam for his salary. She pays him, and Krathing starts flirting with her as well. Just then, Duchess returns to her building. The moment she sees Krathing there, she becomes extremely angry. Krathing asks what he has done. Duchess demands that he give her money back. Krathing casually tells her that he has already spent it. Then, just to mess with her, he suddenly says that Kun Kao is there. The moment Duchess hears Kun Kao's name, she jumps and hides. Krathing bursts out laughing after seeing her reaction. Duchess realizes that he has fooled her again and angrily tells him that he tricked her once more. Krathing laughs and says that this trick is so old that even children wouldn't believe it anymore. Then he walks away. Duchess continues venting her anger, saying that because of him, she lost all her money and still couldn't complete her registration. She calls him an idiot and becomes extremely frustrated. But after calming down, she starts thinking that maybe the person she saw really was Kun Kao. The next day, Duchess leaves for college. Just then, Mimi calls out to her from behind and says that she remembers her. Duchess immediately becomes defensive and says that Mimi must be mistaken. She explains that her name is Duchess, not Dangle, and that she recently moved here from a very expensive area in Bangkok. She says that she doesn't think they were ever neighbors. Mimi replies that she wasn't talking about being neighbors. Instead, she says that she is simply happy to see Duchess again. Duchess becomes uncomfortable and pretends to receive a phone call so that she can escape. But Mimi suddenly points out that Duchess is holding her phone upside down. Duchess becomes confused and wonders what Mimi is doing. Meanwhile, Krathing has secretly heard their entire conversation. The moment he hears the name Dangle, he realizes that something is definitely suspicious. He starts laughing, clearly convinced that there is more to Duchess's story than she is letting everyone know. After arriving at college, Duchess suddenly receives a message saying that her registration has been completed. She becomes surprised and wonders who completed it for her. Then she thinks that maybe her registration was finally processed when she tried it the previous day. But Prim says that this is impossible. He believes that Kun Kao must have hacked the program and completed her registration without even telling her. Prim then tells Duchess that she should personally go and thank him. Duchess immediately says that she is a girl and can't directly talk to a boy like that. But a few moments later, we see Duchess doing the complete opposite. She goes straight to Kun Kao and thanks him for helping with her registration. She tells him that if he hadn't helped her, she would have faced a huge problem. Prim becomes shocked because Duchess had just said that she couldn't talk to him directly. And Duchess takes things even further by asking Kun Kao for his phone number. Prim and Mook are completely shocked by this. Kun Kao gives her his number without any problem and then leaves for class. Just then, Krathing suddenly arrives and loudly calls Duchess by the name Dangle. The moment Duchess hears that name, she becomes extremely shocked. She quickly covers Krathing's mouth and drags him away. Duchess then asks how he knows that name. Krathing teasingly tells her that the name Dangle suits her much better than Duchess. Duchess immediately warns him never to use that name again. She explains that she is rich now, so she can't use that cheap old name anymore. Then Krathing suddenly mentions Kun Kao. Duchess becomes nervous again and asks him how much money he wants to keep his mouth shut. But Krathing tells her that not every problem can be solved with money. He wants to know her secret. Duchess refuses to tell him anything. Krathing then threatens her, saying that if she doesn't tell him the truth, he will call her Dangle, right in front of Kdrama. Duchess asks if he is trying to scare her. Kdrama starts loudly calling out her old name. Duchess immediately stops him and begs him to promise that he won't tell anyone. But Kdrama refuses to make such a promise. Instead, he keeps teasing her and asks whether she really thinks she should tell him the truth. Then he starts shouting again. Duchess finally gives in and explains everything. She tells Kdrama that when she was a child, her father's business partner betrayed him. Because of that betrayal, her family went bankrupt and had to move to Bangkok. At that time, Kdrama's grandmother allowed Duchess's family to stay at her place and didn't even charge them rent. Duchess's father then started a soy milk business in Bangkok, and Kdrama's grandmother helped their family a lot. Because of this, Duchess's father started sending soy milk to their house every day as a way of thanking her. One day, while Duchess was walking on the road, she fell down and broke her sunglasses. Kdrama happened to see her fall. The next day, when Duchess went to their house to deliver soy milk, Kdrama gave her a new pair of sunglasses. There was also a little note attached to them, saying that she shouldn't break them again. From that moment, Duchess could never forget Kdrama, but now she doesn't want him to remember that she is the same little girl from his past. Kdrama asks whether she really thinks Kdrama won't recognize her. Duchess says she doesn't think he will because they haven't met since that time. Besides, the Duchess everyone sees today is completely different from the old Dangle. That's why she doesn't want anyone to find out that she used to be poor. Kdrama immediately starts laughing and says that a secret like this is going to cost her a lot more money. He reminds her that he never promised to keep her secret. Then he continues laughing at her. So Duchess takes Kdrama to the mall for shopping. Kdrama starts buying a huge number of clothes and then tells Duchess to pay the bill. Duchess looks at all the things he bought and asks if that's all he wanted, but Kdrama keeps shopping. He starts buying a huge amount of food as well. Duchess asks whether he can really eat all of it. Kdrama casually replies that the money belongs to her, so why should he worry? Then he starts telling other girls in the mall to take whatever they want because Duchess will pay the bill. Duchess becomes annoyed and says that this is getting way too much. Kdrama deliberately calls her Dangle again and tells her to eat whatever she wants until she becomes unconscious. After that, Kdrama gives all his shopping bags to Duchess and makes her carry them. Duchess finally loses her patience. Kdrama then dramatically complains that his heart is hurting and says that he needs to get a checkup. He asks Duchess to pay for the medical checkup as well. Duchess tells him to set up, but Kdrama corrects her and jokes that sit up is actually an exercise. Duchess ignores his nonsense and tells him once again that he must never call her by that old name again. Kdrama threatens her again, saying that if she doesn't give him money, everyone will know her secret by tomorrow. Just then, Mr. Sweetface arrives and asks Kdrama if he thinks behaving like this makes him look cool. Kdrama tells him not to interfere in his business. Mr. Sweetface then asks Duchess why she is giving Kdrama money. Duchess simply says that she is super rich, so this amount of money doesn't matter to her. Kdrama then asks whether Mr. Sweetface is going to hit him. After hearing their argument, Mr. Sweetface decides that this matter is over. Taking advantage of the situation, Duchess quickly runs away. When Kdrama turns around and realizes that Duchess has disappeared, he feels strangely disappointed. Meanwhile, Duchess wonders why she almost told Kdrama her biggest secret. Just then, Mook and Prim arrive and call her Dangle. Duchess becomes shocked and immediately says, "My name is Duchess." Prim jokes that the name Dangle doesn't suit a rich girl like her. It sounds more like the name of a girl from a much lower social class. Mook then casually comments that Dangle sounds tasty. Duchess starts talking with them about the food, trying to ignore their teasing. Just then, Duchess receives a new message from the Rich Angels group. She checks her phone and the message immediately catches her attention. After receiving the message from the Rich Angels group, Duchess happily says goodbye to Mook and Prim and walks away with a big smile on her face. Meanwhile, Kdrama brings some food for Kdrama. Kdrama looks at the food and becomes suspicious because Kdrama has never brought him food before. He asks, "You never bring me food, what are you up to?" Kdrama says that he broke up Kdrama's relationships with those girls and wants to be paid for it. He asks how many times he has to remind him to give him his money, and wonders why Kdrama doesn't simply break up with the girls himself. Kdrama explains that he can't stand seeing girls cry. Then he looks at Kdrama and says that judging by all the food and shopping, it doesn't look like Kdrama is short of money. Kdrama quickly explains that he didn't pay for any of those things himself. Kdrama realizes that Kdrama made the girl pay for everything and asks why she is spending so much money on him. He wonders if she likes him. Kdrama says that the girl has a secret that he knows about, but he can't tell Kdrama what it is. Kun Kao then reveals that he didn't actually complete Duchess's registration. He only knows that she came to thank him for it. He asks Krathing if he was the one who helped her. Krathing proudly admits that he did because he considers himself a hero. Kun Kao laughs and says that he has never seen a hero like him before. He then suggests that Krathing must like Duchess. Krathing immediately denies it and says that he doesn't like her at all. He simply enjoys teasing her. Just then, some girls walk past them. Krathing grabs his food and starts following the girls, while Kun Kao watches him and laughs. Meanwhile, Honey tells the other rich angels that they have already kept Duchess in their group, so now they can have some fun with her. The girls start laughing together. Just then, Duchess arrives and greets them. They greet her back. Duchess proudly announces that she has now become a member of the Rich Angels. Honey asks her what the first rule of the group was. Duchess confidently answers that whenever they meet, they have to wear designer clothes. Honey then reminds everyone that their first human communication class is tomorrow. Since they don't need to wear uniforms for that class, they have to make sure they look fashionable. However, none of them has decided what to wear yet. Duchess suggests that they should dress like rich people. Crete agrees, saying that they are rich anyway. Duchess starts laughing. Then Honey suggests that they should dress like poor people instead. The girls immediately start choosing clothes for their plan. Duchess notices that they are making fun of poor people and asks what is wrong with their clothes. Fasai asks why Duchess is suddenly taking the poor people's side. Duchess quickly makes an excuse and says that she saw some poor people from her car earlier, so she was simply talking about them. The next day, Duchess arrives at college dressed exactly like a poor person. She proudly tells her friends that the Rich Angels had chosen this theme for the day. But just then, the other three girls arrive wearing expensive designer clothes. They stare at Duchess and ask what she is wearing. Duchess becomes confused and reminds them that this was exactly what they had decided the previous day. The girls burst out laughing and tell her that she took their joke seriously. They say that she looks exactly like a poor person. Duchess becomes furious and shouts that they all fooled her. Honey simply asks why she is getting angry. Prim also becomes upset and asks how they could do something like that to her. Honey then calls Duchess stupid. Mook becomes angry after hearing this, but Honey checks the class list and points out that Duchess isn't even registered for the class she dressed up for. She asks what else they are supposed to call her if she can't even figure that out. Duchess becomes extremely embarrassed and angry and walks away. The girls laugh and say that they should see what is inside her head. Meanwhile, Duchess sits somewhere alone, feeling upset. Just then, Krathing arrives and asks what happened. Duchess tells him everything and asks which class he had gone to. She says that she attended the human communication class. Krathing becomes surprised and tells her that he didn't register her for that class. Instead, he registered her for jungle tracking, a class filled with rich students. Duchess immediately refuses to go. Krathing then reminds her that he hacked the computer system specifically to register her for this class. He tells her not to make that kind of face and hurry because the class is about to begin. Duchess continues refusing, but Krathing grabs her and takes her to the classroom. Duchess says she doesn't want to attend because she doesn't want to get dirty. She looks at the other students and says they all look like gangsters. Krathing immediately tells everyone that Duchess just called them gangsters. One of the boys stares at her for a moment. Then he introduces himself as Krathing's friend and says that jungle tracking isn't such a bad subject. He assures Duchess that she might actually enjoy it. Duchess asks whether he is really a student. Krathing says yes, although he looks a little older than the others. Duchess tries to leave the classroom, but Krathing grabs her and forces her to sit down. He looks at her clothes and jokes that she looks like someone who got lost in the jungle after going fishing. He tells her that this class actually suits her perfectly. Just then, Kun Kao arrives. He notices Duchess and immediately takes off his jacket and puts it around her shoulders. He tells her that she will catch a cold wearing those clothes. Duchess becomes extremely happy after seeing Kun Kao's concern, but Krathing quickly ruins the moment by telling Kun Kao that he had said he wasn't coming to class today. Kun Kao explains that he changed his mind after finding out that a cute girl would be attending the class. Duchess becomes extremely excited after hearing this. Kun Kao notices how happy she looks and asks what happened. Krathing then removes the jacket from Duchess and says that she isn't actually cold. Duchess immediately starts acting as if she is freezing. She takes the jacket back and puts it around herself again, showing that she is actually very good at acting. Just then, Duchess receives a message on her phone. The moment she sees it, she becomes extremely happy and says that she has been waiting for this moment for a long time. She then goes over to the others. They ask her whose jacket she is wearing. Duchess explains that she forgot to return Kun Kao's jacket. Someone teases her by saying that Kun Kao probably gave it to her on purpose so that she could flirt with him. Just then, another message arrives. The application form for the Rich Club has finally been released, and now they only need to select one new member. Someone asks Duchess why she is so desperate to join the rich club and become friends with those girls. Duchess honestly says that joining the rich club has been her dream since childhood. She wants to become part of that world, even though she doesn't really want to be friends with those girls personally. Duchess becomes determined and says that no matter what happens, she wants to become a member of the rich club. Mook and Prim tell her that they will help her. They explain that one of the requirements for becoming a rich club member is proving that she is actually rich. She has to show her financial records to the board. Another requirement is having at least 1 million followers on Instagram. Honey then becomes worried and asks how she is supposed to get 1 million followers. Kdrama tells her not to worry because she is already Honey's friend. With her connection, Honey can easily become a rich club member. Honey thanks her and says that she will definitely join the club and become the perfect girl for Kdrama. Fasai then asks what will happen to her and when she can join. Honey tells her that she can join next year. Meanwhile, the three friends begin planning how to help Duchess. Mook says that she did some research and discovered that having good connections is extremely important for joining the rich club. For example, Honey has Kdrama as her connection, so she can easily get accepted. But Duchess doesn't have any connections at all, which means she barely has a chance. Duchess becomes worried and asks whom she can use for help. Prim suddenly comes up with an idea. Duchess asks what they can use. Prim jokingly says an eyebrow pencil, but then they realize that Duchess doesn't have anything useful. Instead, they decide that Duchess needs to become famous first, so that she can reach 1 million followers. Duchess says she will pay a television channel to feature her. Once people see her on TV, they will recognize her and start following her. But Prim says they need to do something meaningful instead. Suddenly, an idea comes to his mind. The three of them start copying the same movement. Duchess asks, "Do you know what I'm thinking?" Mook and Prim admit that they don't know, and that they were only copying her for no reason. Meanwhile, Kdrama is tutoring Sky. He tells Sky that they are doing a trigonometry exercise, not a sleeping exercise. Just then, Duchess arrives and tells Kdrama that she needs his help. Sky also says that he wants to help her, but after seeing Kdrama's expression, he quietly leaves. Kdrama asks Duchess what she needs. Duchess explains that she wants his help to join the rich club. Kdrama immediately says that the club isn't good. He explains that the club is filled with children from extremely wealthy families. Duchess argues that the rich club only accepts high-class members and says that whatever rich people do is never considered wrong. She tells Kdrama that he wouldn't understand the feeling of being rich. She also admits that not every rich person is bad. Maybe Kdrama has simply met bad rich people so far. Then Duchess tells him that the deal is final and he has to help her. Kdrama refuses, so Duchess offers him money. He still says no at first, but when Duchess offers him a much larger amount, he finally agrees to the deal. However, as Duchess walks away, Kdrama reminds her that he never actually said yes. Meanwhile, Duchess starts giving free soy milk to people in order to gain followers. Prim tells her that they have already made a video and says that she looks like an angel from Thailand. He believes that she will reach 1 million followers very soon. Just then, Kdrama arrives and calls Duchess Purple Potato. The two immediately start arguing, but the moment Duchess sees Kdrama approaching, she quickly hides. Kdrama notices her behavior and asks whom she is hiding from. Duchess thinks to herself that Kdrama doesn't even remember her as Dangle. She quickly comes out and says that she wasn't hiding at all. She was only covering herself because the weather was very sunny. Then she asks Kdrama what he is doing there. Kdrama explains that Kdrama told him Duchess was helping him, so he came to help her too. He also asks why she didn't tell him earlier. If she had, he could have brought his jacket for her. Kdrama says that he has plenty of jackets anyway, so Duchess can return the one she has later. Kdrama watches the two of them and makes a hilarious expression. Then Kdrama notices the bottles and asks if they are soy milk. Kdrama sarcastically asks if Kdrama sees coconut milk instead. Duchess immediately tells Kdrama to keep his mouth shut. She then starts preparing special soy milk for Kdrama. Kdrama watches her and says that she looks like a professional. Hearing that, Duchess deliberately spills some milk onto her own hand. Kdrama immediately grabs her hand to help her. Duchess says that she has never done this job alone before. Kdrama sees the two of them together and tells his friends to go help Duchess wash her hand. Duchess becomes annoyed and says that Kdrama was the one who grabbed her hand. Kdrama finds her reaction cute. Kdrama immediately says that there is nothing cute about it and accuses Duchess of doing everything on purpose. But even Kdrama can't stop himself from watching Duchess. Duchess secretly becomes extremely happy and says that she will never wash that hand again. The next day, the three friends check their follower counts. Unfortunately, Duchess has gained only 3 followers. followers. She becomes frustrated and says that she gave soy milk to 100,000 people, so how did she gain only 3 followers? Mook checks her account and discovers the problem. She tells Duchess that she even spelled her own name incorrectly. Instead of writing Duchess correctly, she had typed the name differently. Then Prim checks Honey's account and is shocked to see that Honey has gained a huge number of followers. She had collected donations for a hospital, and because of that, her account has already reached 500,000 followers. The others become impressed. They suggest creating fake accounts and using them to follow Duchess, but Prim says that would take too much time. Then they start wondering how people with millions of followers increase their numbers so quickly. Mook explains that many people simply pay to increase their followers. But Duchess will need a technical genius to do it secretly, someone who can keep the whole thing confidential. Duchess suddenly says that she knows someone who might be able to help. Here, Krathing approaches a girl and offers to tutor her, hoping to somehow use her as a connection. But the girl refuses and simply walks away. Krathing is left standing there, realizing that finding the right person to help her may not be as easy as he thought. Krathing becomes annoyed and asks how long Duchess plans to keep ignoring him. Just then, Duchess approaches him and says that she needs him to do something for her. Krathing sarcastically asks why seeing him always reminds her that she needs a favor. Duchess begs him to help her. Krathing asks what she wants. Duchess gets straight to the point and asks him to increase her Instagram followers. She says she isn't expecting him to work for free and asks how much money he wants. She offers him 40,000, then 50,000, but Krathing refuses. Duchess increases the offer to 200,000 and then 300,000, but Krathing still says no. Duchess finally tells him to leave and says she'll ask Kun Kao for help instead. She deliberately tells Krathing that Kun Kao is more handsome and more talented than him. Krathing immediately stops her from calling Kun Kao and asks how many followers she needs. Duchess says she needs 3 million followers. Krathing finally agrees and starts working. He uses several computers around the college to increase Duchess's followers. Tan arrives and tells him that he is only allowed to use 1 computer at a time. Krathing tells Tan to leave because he doesn't have time to argue with him. Tan threatens to report Krathing. Just then, Kun Kao arrives and asks what is going on. Krathing says that he is simply doing his job. Kun Kao notices that Krathing is looking at Duchess's pictures and asks if he really likes her. Krathing explains that Duchess hired him for this job. Then Krathing asks Kun Kao how he liked the soy milk. Kun Kao says that it was good. Krathing tells him to enjoy it, but then he reminds Kun Kao that eating isn't allowed there, so he can't eat anything inside. Krathing tells him to take the food outside. Tan stops them again, so Kun Kao eventually leaves. Krathing tells Tan to go ahead and report him if he wants to. Then he gets back to work. The next day, Duchess's follower count suddenly reaches 500,000. Meanwhile, Prim notices that her boyfriend has shared a picture with another girl. She repeatedly calls him, but he refuses to answer. Prim becomes furious and starts calling him a cheater. Duchess tries to calm her down. A little later, Duchess's followers increase to 700,000, but Prim is still heartbroken over her boyfriend. So Duchess and Mook suggest that they all go to a spa to help her relax. Unfortunately, they accidentally end up at the wrong spa, and things get even worse when the police suddenly raid the place. Mook somehow manages to escape, but Duchess panics and tries to convince the police that she isn't a customer. She tells them that she actually works there, but the police say they aren't there to arrest the customers. They are there to arrest the workers, and according to them, all the workers have already left with the customers. So the police arrest Duchess. At the police station, Duchess desperately tries to explain that she isn't a worker and was actually a customer, but the officers refuse to believe her. Duchess even offers them money and says that her father can pay them whatever they want. The officer warns her that now she could also face a bribery charge. Duchess insists that she hasn't done anything wrong. Just as the officer is about to take her to jail, Krathing suddenly arrives. He tells the officer to let Duchess go. The officer recognizes him and calls him Mr. Krathing. Krathing says that he brought the officer some snacks, which he knows are his favorite. The officer tells him to leave the snacks on his desk because he needs to put Duchess in jail first. Krathing explains that Duchess is his college student and hasn't done anything wrong. He believes there must have been some misunderstanding. After hearing him, the officer finally lets Duchess go. Duchess is shocked and asks why the officer didn't listen to her earlier. Then she asks Krathing if he knows the officer and why the officer treats him so well. Krathing becomes nervous. Duchess asks if he has been to jail before. Krathing admits that he has been there many times. He tries to explain that this is why the officer knows him, but the officer suddenly exposes him and says that Krathing is actually a thief who also flirts with many girls. Krathing quickly stops the officer from saying anything else and tells Duchess that they should go home. Duchess refuses to let him touch her. Once they get outside, Duchess becomes curious and asks how Krathing knew she was there. Krathing casually says that someone informed him. Then he starts flirting with her as usual. Duchess finally becomes convinced that he really does come to this place regularly and says that he is a terrible person. Krathing reminds her that instead of insulting him, she should thank him for saving her. Then he jokingly suggests that they call the officer back. Duchess quickly stops him and says that she will buy him dinner instead. She asks where he wants to eat. Krathing asks if he can choose any restaurant. Duchess says yes. But instead of choosing an expensive place, Krathing takes her to a very ordinary restaurant. Duchess looks around and says that he could have chosen a much better place because she is the one paying the bill. Krathing explains that he is just a normal guy and likes normal food. Duchess tells him to eat while she simply sits there. But when the food arrives, Duchess immediately becomes tempted by all the delicious dishes. Krathing looks at her and asks if she really isn't going to eat. Duchess pretends that she doesn't like the food and tells him to finish quickly. Then the waiter brings the bill. Duchess takes out her phone and tries to pay, but the payment doesn't go through. Krathing offers to pay the bill himself. Duchess refuses and says she will pay. She calls her bank and asks what is wrong. The bank informs her that her account has been temporarily disabled. Duchess becomes extremely shocked. She calls another bank, but the situation is the same. All of her bank accounts have been suspended. Krathing asks if everything is okay. Duchess pretends that everything is fine and tells him that if he has finished eating, he should hurry up and go back to increase her followers. Just then, Krathing receives a call from his father. He says goodbye and leaves. Duchess then tells the waiter that her bank account has been suspended, but that she lives nearby. She promises that she will return and pay the bill because the money is at her home. However, we soon see Duchess washing all the dishes in the restaurant to pay off the bill. Later, she calls her father and asks him about her bank cards. Her father admits that he was the one who had them suspended. Duchess asks why he did it. Her father explains that she has been wasting far too much money. Duchess realizes that her luxurious lifestyle may finally be coming to an end. Duchess's father tells her that if she keeps spending money like this, their family's money will run out very quickly. From now on, he says, she will only receive 1,000 baht per week. Duchess becomes completely shocked and starts complaining loudly. Meanwhile, she has no choice but to continue washing the restaurant's dishes. At the same time, Krathing's father questions him about going to the police station. He asks what Krathing did there. Krathing says that he didn't do anything wrong. He only went because his friend was in trouble. His father becomes annoyed and asks why Krathing always makes him think that he only creates problems. He says that Krathing keeps hanging around with bad people, and everyone is starting to say that even a senior police officer can't control his own son. Krathing jokes that nobody would dare say that to his father's face. They would only say it behind his back. His father then reminds him that he will graduate next year, so he needs to start taking his life seriously. He also reminds Krathing that he is an older brother and has responsibilities. Krathing agrees and leaves. His father remains extremely angry with him. The next day, Duchess finally reaches 1 million followers, but instead of celebrating, she looks completely miserable. Her friends ask what happened. Duchess sadly explains that she has become poor. Her father has suspended all her credit cards, and now she will only receive 1,000 baht per week. That means she will have just 4,000 baht for an entire month. She says that she has officially become poor. Prim says that her monthly expenses are around 9,000 baht. Mook says hers are around 15,000 baht, which means she is actually the richest person in their group. The girls try to cheer Duchess up and suggest that she sell some of her designer clothes, but Duchess refuses. She says that if the rich club members find out that she is selling her expensive clothes because she has no money, her dream will be over. Mook calculates Duchess's daily budget and tells her that she can spend only about 142 baht a day. Duchess starts calculating. She says that noodles cost around 40 baht, leaving her with about 102 baht, but a drink costs around 120 baht. That means she can't even afford a single drink anymore. Just then, a package arrives at her gate. After paying for it, Duchess realizes that she has only 1 baht left. Her friends immediately ask what is inside the package. Then we see Duchess trying on the new outfit. Prim tells her that she looks beautiful, but asks why she ordered such an expensive outfit. Duchess says that she simply liked it, so she ordered it. She then proudly asks whether she looks pretty and tells them to look at her. But just then, she checks her phone and becomes shocked. The Rich Club has sent her a message. Duchess has officially been accepted into the Rich Club. However, there is one major problem. She must show them her financial records within 24 hours to prove that she is genuinely rich. Duchess becomes terrified because she now has only 1 baht left. Later, Duchess arrives at the Rich Club with her friends. Honey tells her that she won't let Duchess win. The two have a small confrontation before finally entering the club. Inside, the Rich Club board members ask Duchess to present her financial records. Duchess begins explaining about her family's business and factory, but Honey keeps interrupting her. The board member eventually turns off Honey's microphone. phone. However, Honey continues causing problems. After this happens several times, the board member warns her that if she keeps behaving like this, security will remove her from the room. Meanwhile, Duchess continues explaining about her family's business and factory. The board members are impressed and admit that Duchess really does come from a wealthy family. But then comes the most important part. They ask her to show her current bank balance. Duchess suddenly becomes nervous. She says that she accidentally forgot to bring the document and asks them to give her some time. The board member tells her that she can simply show the balance on her phone. Honey immediately asks whether Duchess actually has any money. Everyone starts pressuring Duchess to show her balance. Duchess becomes terrified. Then, thinking quickly, she deliberately falls to the floor and pretends to faint. Her plan works, and she manages to escape the situation. After returning home, Duchess is relieved and says that her trick worked this time. But then she starts worrying about what she will do if they ask again. Just then, another message arrives from the Rich Club. They give her 7 days to show her bank balance. Duchess becomes even more worried. She calculates that after 7 days, she will only have around 1,000 baht. A little later, Duchess becomes extremely hungry. She checks her refrigerator, hoping to find something to eat, but there is nothing inside except beauty products. Duchess looks at them and wonders if she can actually eat them. Out of desperation, she tries one. Soon, we see Duchess rushing to the bathroom. After that, she comes outside and starts searching through all her bags, hoping to find some money. She manages to find 2 baht in one of her bags. Then she checks the pockets of her clothes, but she finds only another 50 satang. Duchess sadly counts everything and realizes that she has only 4 baht and 50 satang left. She becomes so desperate that she starts crying. Then she goes outside and begins checking other people's clothes, hoping someone might have left some money in a pocket, but she finds nothing. In her desperation, Duchess even climbs inside a machine. She gets stuck and starts screaming for help. Just then, Krathing happens to walk past. He hears her screams, comes over, and pulls her out. Krathing looks at her in disbelief and asks what she is doing there. He also points out that the clothes she is wearing aren't even hers and asks if she has a fever. Duchess simply says that she is extremely hungry. Krathing helps her stand up and asks why she hasn't eaten anything. Duchess is so hungry that she starts staring at the food Krathing has with him. Before he can react, she suddenly bites him. In the next scene, we see everyone sitting at Miss Jam's house and eating together. Krathing tells Duchess to eat slowly because nobody is going to steal her food. Sky looks at her and says that she looks like she hasn't eaten properly for many days. Duchess admits that she has never eaten food like this before. She is used to eating only expensive food, but she says that her father told her to learn how to live like a normal person. So she asks Miss Jam if she can bring her some more food because she wants to practice living a normal life. Miss Jam happily gets up to bring her more food. Meanwhile, Krathing keeps watching Duchess. Then he tells her that he needs to go buy a few things and asks her to come with him. Then Krathing tells Duchess to come with him, but she refuses. He threatens her, saying that if she doesn't come, he will reveal her secret to everyone. He takes her outside and asks what is really going on. A little earlier, he had seen her searching inside the washing machine for coins. Duchess quickly lies that she was actually looking for her diamond ring. Krathing says that it looked like she hadn't eaten anything for days. Duchess says she has been dieting, which is why she looks so weak. Krathing then asks if she has run out of money. Duchess laughs and says, "My name is Duchess, don't try to joke with me." But Krathing knows she is lying and tells her to explain what happened. So Duchess finally tells him everything. She admits that she spent too much money, so her father suspended all her credit cards. Now she has only 4.50 baht left. Krathing then takes a packet from his bike and gives it to her. Inside, there is a huge amount of money. Duchess is shocked and asks where he got it from. She immediately assumes that he stole it because, according to her, Krathing is a thief, but Krathing explains that the money actually belongs to her. Duchess asks how it could possibly be hers. Krathing says that this is the money she previously paid him for his work, but he never spent any of it, so he is simply returning all of it to her. Duchess suddenly starts seeing Krathing like an angel. She hugs him tightly and says that she thought he was a terrible person, but now she realizes that he is actually a really good guy. She even jokes that if she didn't already like Kun Kao, she might have fallen in love with Krathing. But the moment Krathing hears Kun Kao's name, his mood completely changes. He gets annoyed and tells Duchess never to hug him like that again. Duchess happily looks at the money and says that she has finally survived. Then she gives Krathing a flying kiss. Meanwhile, Honey, Kratay, and Fasai are discussing Duchess. Honey tells Kdrama to get help from her brother, but Kdrama refuses because she doesn't want to involve him in this. She tells Honey not to worry because Duchess still isn't officially a rich club member. Honey points out that Duchess still hasn't shown her financial records. Then, Fasai searches for information about Duchess online, and soon, they discover the truth. They find out that Duchess wasn't always rich. In fact, she used to be poor. Meanwhile, Duchess tells her friends that after getting the money back from Kdrama, she now has around 10 million baht. But she needs even more money because she has to show her financial records to the rich club board as soon as she returns from camp. Prim suggests that Duchess should simply create a fake bank account. Mook reminds her that she almost went to jail last time, and if Kdrama hadn't arrived, she might have actually ended up there. The girls then start saying that Kdrama is actually a really good person because he keeps helping Duchess. They even wonder if he likes her. Duchess immediately denies it and says there is nothing like that between them. Just then, Kun Kao arrives and tells Duchess to attend class. Mook tells him that Duchess is worried about the rich club. Kun Kao asks if she really wants to join it. Duchess says that joining the rich club is her biggest dream. She then explains that everything is almost settled, except she still has to show them her financial records. Unfortunately, she spent too much money, so her father suspended all her bank accounts. Kun Kao asks if she has absolutely no money left. At that moment, Mook and Prim start secretly signaling Duchess to ask Kun Kao for help. Duchess refuses because she feels embarrassed. Kun Kao notices them and asks what they are doing. They quickly say they were just doing some face exercises. Kun Kao simply says okay and leaves for class. But Mook and Prim again encourage Duchess to ask him for help. So Duchess finally approaches Kun Kao. She asks if she can temporarily show his money as her own financial record. Kun Kao looks at her silently. Duchess explains that she will only show the money to the rich club board members, and after that, she will immediately return it. She even offers to sign an agreement so that Kun Kao can trust her. She promises that she won't cheat him. Kun Kao asks how much she needs. Duchess says she needs 10 million baht. Without hesitation, Kun Kao asks for her account number and says that he will transfer the money to her. Duchess becomes extremely happy. She thanks him repeatedly. Later, everyone goes shopping for the upcoming camp. Mook complains that they aren't even attending the same class, yet Duchess is still taking them along. She jokes that Duchess usually wants to stay around Kun Kao anyway, not with them. Duchess says she doesn't think Kun Kao is actually interested in her, but Prim reminds her that he just gave her 10 million baht. So, according to Prim, he must definitely like her. Duchess becomes excited after hearing this. The two girls then begin training Duchess on how to make Kun Kao even more interested in her. But they don't realize that Kdrama is secretly hiding nearby and listening to everything. Duchess suddenly notices him and asks what he is doing there. Kdrama calls her Dangle, so Duchess immediately covers his mouth. They then go outside. Kdrama asks if Duchess is so desperate to join the rich club that she even borrowed money from Kun Kao. Duchess explains that joining the club is her dream. She believes that once she becomes a member and becomes famous, people will respect her no matter what she does. Kdrama tells her that she is being stupid. The two start arguing, and soon their argument turns into a small fight. During the struggle, Duchess accidentally falls on top of Kdrama. For a moment, the two stare directly into each other's eyes. But then Kdrama tells her that Kun Kao doesn't actually like her. Duchess gets furious and starts hitting him. Kdrama hits her back, and the two continue fighting for a while. Finally, Duchess gets angry and storms away. The next morning, everyone is getting ready to leave for camp. Kdrama complains that Duchess is taking too long. Kun Kao reminds him that Kdrama is always late himself, but today he arrived unusually early. Just then, Duchess, Mook, and Prim finally arrive. And of course, Duchess doesn't forget to show off her new style. Prim jokingly says that sometimes she feels like the three of them aren't even friends anymore. Meanwhile, Kdrama keeps looking at Duchess and even helps her with her bag. Then Kdrama gets annoyed when he sees Duchess and Kun Kao together. He looks at Duchess and says that she is exactly his type. Duchess then pretends that her bag is extremely heavy and asks Kdrama to help her. Kdrama happily says she doesn't need to worry because he will help her from the bottom of his heart. But when he tries to lift the bag, he immediately drops it and complains about how expensive the bag is. Meanwhile, Kun Kao tells Duchess that he will put her bag inside. Kdrama keeps watching the two of them. Even when they get into the car, Kdrama deliberately sits between Duchess and Kun Kao. He tells them that there is an empty seat in the back and asks why they don't sit there. Kdrama says that Kun Cow is his best friend and that they can't stay away from each other even for 1 second. So he decides to sit right there and tells the driver to start driving. Meanwhile, Honey, Mook, and Prim begin investigating Duchess because they are determined to find out whether she really comes from a rich family. Soon, everyone arrives at the camp. Krathing's friend Poon goes off to check the area while Kun Cow starts setting up the tents. Duchess and her friends struggle to set up their tent. Mook suggests that Duchess ask Kun Cow for help. Duchess smiles and says that Kun Cow is already busy. So Prim deliberately tells Krathing that she has never set up a tent before and asks him to help them. Kun Cow also comes over to help and Krathing joins him. While they are working, Duchess keeps staring at Kun Cow. Kun Cow notices her and smiles. Mook excitedly says that Kun Cow is looking at her, but Prim corrects her and says that he isn't looking at her, he's actually looking at Duchess. There is a little chocolate stuck between Duchess's teeth, which is why Kun Cow keeps looking at her. Duchess becomes terrified when she realizes this and immediately starts cleaning her teeth. Kun Cow keeps laughing as he watches her. Then Kun Cow tells Krathing that he is thinking about flirting with Duchess. Krathing looks at him without saying anything. Kun Cow asks if Krathing likes Duchess, but Krathing doesn't answer because he is still watching her desperately trying to clean her teeth. Meanwhile, Honey's dress gets dirty while they are walking around. She asks Fossai for a tissue, but Fossai doesn't have one. Then a boy approaches them. The girls immediately start screaming because they think something suspicious is happening. At the same moment, Honey's heel breaks. When the boy comes closer, Honey grabs Fossai's shoe, puts it on, and runs away. The boy looks confused and says that he only came to give them a tissue. Honey tells Fossai to quickly look for evidence and leave the area. Fossai tries to show them something, but nobody listens to her. Later, the girls see two men drinking nearby. Honey shows them Duchess's picture and asks if they know her. The two men look at the picture and start laughing. They say they will tell them what they know, but only if the girls drink with them. So Honey and Fossai agree. Honey starts drinking and Fossai drinks too, but Kratay refuses. The men say that they won't tell them anything until everyone drinks. Honey eventually forces Kratay to drink. Soon, Honey becomes completely drunk. Just then, the men's girlfriends arrive and challenge them, saying they can dance much better than them. The two girls start dancing. Honey and Fossai watch them. Then Kratay also joins the dance and starts dancing with them. The girls eventually grab Kratay and take him away. Back at the camp, Duchess asks Krathing if he has seen Kun Cow. Krathing lies and says that he hasn't. Instead, he complains that Duchess is flirting too much. Duchess starts hitting him. Just then, Kun Cow arrives. He explains that he was busy cleaning up some trash. Then Kun Cow gives Duchess several flowers. Krathing becomes annoyed and immediately starts walking away. Kun Cow asks where he is going. Krathing says that he is going to take a shower. Prim immediately uses the same excuse and follows him. Meanwhile, Poon brings everyone some drinks given to them by the villagers. He says that they are herbal drinks. Mook and Duchess drink them, but Kun Cow warns everyone not to drink too much. Meanwhile, Krathing goes to take a shower. Prim follows him, but inside her head, her angel side tells her not to do anything embarrassing. At the same time, her devil side encourages her to go ahead. The two sides keep arguing in her mind while Prim struggles to decide what to do. Just then, Krathing comes outside and tells her to use the bathroom. Meanwhile, Honey and the others still haven't found any solid evidence about Duchess. Fossai suddenly remembers something. She says they can use an old interview with Duchess's father. In that interview, he talked about how poor their family used to be. Honey immediately asks why Fossai didn't tell them earlier. Fossai says she tried to tell them several times, but nobody ever listened. Honey becomes excited and says that now they can finally expose Duchess. The three girls start laughing. Back at the camp, the herbal drinks start affecting everyone. Duchess and Kun Cow are washing things together. While washing, their hands accidentally touch. Duchess becomes extremely happy. But just then, Krathing arrives and immediately separates their hands. Kun Cow asks Krathing where his food is. He tells Krathing to go and bring him something to eat. Krathing says that he is busy helping Duchess. Kun Cow replies that Duchess can handle the work herself. Duchess keeps staring at Krathing. The herbal drink has already made her drunk. She looks at him and wonders why he suddenly looks so handsome. She can't stop staring at him. Because of her distraction, she accidentally knocks down a beehive. Everyone immediately starts screaming. The bees swarm around them and everyone runs away in panic. Duchess runs by herself, but Krathing grabs her and pulls her inside a tent. Duchess keeps staring at him. Unfortunately, one of the bees stings Krathing. Duchess immediately asks if he is okay. Krathing says that he is fine. Duchess starts smiling at him. Krathing becomes confused and asks why she is smiling like that. Suddenly, they hear a strange sound outside. Duchess gets frightened and jumps straight into Crathing's arms. Crathing looks at her in surprise. Duchess stares at him and says that he looks extremely cool. Crathing has no idea what is going on. Then, without warning, Duchess kisses him. A moment later, Crathing asks what has happened to her. Duchess simply says that he looks very handsome. Then she falls asleep. Crathing keeps staring at her for a moment before carefully laying her down inside the tent. Soon, Kun Cow comes and asks if everything is okay. Crathing says that everything is fine. The next morning, Crathing is brushing his teeth while thinking about everything that happened with Duchess. Duchess suddenly arrives. The moment Crathing sees her, he quickly moves away. Duchess asks what is wrong with him. Crathing says that nothing is wrong and asks if she slept well. Duchess says yes and admits that she doesn't remember anything from the previous night. Crathing asks if she doesn't even remember running away from the bees. Duchess shakes her head. Just then, Kun Cow arrives and tells them they need to go and set up the seeds. He asks what happened last night. Duchess becomes confused. Kun Cow explains that the herbal drink they drank was much stronger than they expected. Crathing asks what drink they are talking about. Kun Cow explains that the villagers gave them a drink yesterday. The moment Duchess hears this, she suddenly remembers that she drank it. But hearing this breaks poor Crathing's heart. He becomes upset and angrily walks away. Meanwhile, everyone gets ready to plant the seeds. Duchess tries hard to remember what happened the previous night, and the moment she looks at Crathing, all her memories suddenly come back. She remembers everything that happened between them. Then, everyone goes to plant the seeds. Duchess approaches Kun Cow and says that she doesn't know how to do it. Crathing stands nearby and watches them. Kun Cow patiently teaches Duchess how to plant the seeds. Then he gives her something and says that it will remind her that they came here together. After that, Kun Cow asks Duchess if she likes him. Crathing is still watching them. Duchess says yes, she likes him. The moment Crathing hears this, he becomes heartbroken. Kun Cow then hugs Duchess. Duchess looks confused, but Crathing can't bear watching them together anymore, so he walks away. Even inside the car, Duchess keeps thinking about Crathing. Then Kun Cow comes and sits beside her. Crathing sees them together again and immediately moves to the back seat. Meanwhile, today is the day Duchess has to show her financial records to the rich club. The whole thing is even being covered on live news. Duchess shows her account, which now contains 10 million baht. Seeing the money, the board members officially announce Duchess as a rich club member. Duchess becomes extremely happy because her biggest dream has finally come true. But suddenly, the rich angels arrive and claim that Duchess is not a perfect member. They reveal her past in front of everyone. They explain that Duchess's family used to be poor and only became rich after winning the lottery. They also reveal that Duchess even changed her name. They question how someone with such a background could become a member of such an important club. The board members start criticizing Duchess as well and tell her to leave. Just then, Crathing arrives and shuts everyone up. He calls the board members and their club stupid. He says that after seeing how they behave, he would rather remain poor than become a member of such a club. Then he takes Duchess outside with him. Even after leaving, Crathing tells her that he had already warned her that the rich club wasn't a good place. Duchess sadly says that joining the club was her dream. She had finally become a member and Honey shouldn't have done this to her. She also says that only Crathing knew about her past. Crathing asks if she really thinks he exposed her secret. Duchess says that Crathing also wanted her to stay away from the club. Crathing becomes serious and says that he would never want her to be humiliated like this. He tells her that not every rich person is a good person. Just then, Kratay arrives and angrily tells Crathing that he has crossed the line. Crathing says that they shouldn't have treated Duchess like that either. Kratay threatens to tell their father everything. Crathing tells her to go ahead and explain everything in detail without leaving anything out. Then he tells Duchess to leave with him. Duchess suddenly asks if Crathing is actually Kratay's older brother. Crathing says yes. Duchess asks why he never told her. Crathing simply says that she never asked him. Duchess becomes emotional and says that Crathing could have easily helped her enter the rich club, but he never did. Crathing asks why she even wanted to join such a stupid club. Duchess finally breaks down crying. She tells him that he has never been poor, so he has no idea how hard she struggled to get there. She had no money. Because of that, she felt that nobody cared whether she existed or not. Everything she did was considered wrong. Seeing Duchess crying, Crathing gently tells her that even without money, she is special to someone. Duchess says that Crathing is rich, so he can say whatever he wants. Crathing tries to stop her from leaving, but Duchess pushes him away. She tells him that he was right. Rich people aren't always good. Then she walks away crying. When Duchess returns home, she continues crying over everything that happened. Meanwhile, Krathing goes to meet his father. His father apologizes over the phone for his son's behavior, and then asks Krathing what he has done. Krathing says that he is ready, and asks his father to say whatever he wants. His father angrily asks how Krathing could behave like that. Krathing says that he didn't do anything wrong. He says the rich club members started everything. But his father tells him not to damage his reputation or the family's name. Krathing finally loses his temper. He says that from now on, he doesn't want to be part of this so-called honorable family anymore. Then he says goodbye and walks away. After that, Krathing goes to Sky and asks if he can stay there for a while. Sky looks at him and says that he is so rich, yet he is acting like a poor person. He asks if Krathing has another problem besides his family. Sky explains that whenever Krathing is acting normally, he talks non-stop, but today he is unusually quiet. So Sky asks if this is all because of a girl. Krathing finally admits that he likes a girl, but he doesn't think they can ever be together. The reason is that his cousin also likes the same girl, and that girl likes his cousin too. Sky asks if Krathing has ever told the girl how he feels. Krathing says no. Sky tells him that if he refuses to confess, then he should just let the two of them stay together. He says that if he were in Krathing's place, he would have confessed his feelings a long time ago. The next day, Duchess's father finally reactivates all her bank accounts and credit cards. Duchess then looks at the jacket Kun Kao gave her. She also puts the money Kun Kao gave her into a bag and plans to return it to him while thanking him. Meanwhile, Krathing and Sky are sleeping together. Miss Jam walks in and sees them like this. She completely misunderstands the situation. Krathing quickly apologizes and says he is sorry for taking advantage of her son. Sky says that nothing like that happened. Krathing then jokes that he was only messing around and asks Miss Jam if he can stay for one more night. But she refuses and reminds him that only girls are allowed to stay there. Boys cannot stay in the building. Just then, Duchess arrives. She tells Miss Jam that she doesn't need the room anymore because she is leaving. Krathing looks at Duchess. Sky tells Krathing to go after her. Krathing follows Duchess because there is something he wants to tell her. He says that Duchess once told him that he could never understand her feelings, but now he finally understands because he has left his family behind. And just like Duchess once felt, Krathing says that he has become poor too. Krathing says, "I have nothing left now." Duchess gets upset and asks him, "Why did you do this?" But Krathing doesn't give her any answer, so Duchess walks away. After that, Krathing asks Sky for the key to a room. Sky tells him that the key is with her mother. Just as Krathing is about to knock on the door, Jam comes and stops him. At that moment, Kun Kao arrives. Sky asks, "Who is he?" Krathing says, "My cousin." Sky looks at Kun Kao and assumes that he has come to confess his feelings to Duchess. When Krathing sees Kun Kao going inside, he also tries to follow him, but Jam stops him again. Jam says, "Another boy has just gone inside." Krathing insists, "I'm telling the truth, ask Sky." But Jam refuses to believe him and says, "Sky will obviously take your side. You can't go inside, just go home." Krathing keeps trying to explain himself, but Jam eventually escorts him all the way to the gate. Once outside, Krathing notices the girl's clothes and suddenly gets an idea. He becomes extremely happy. Meanwhile, Kun Kao enters Duchess's room. The moment Duchess sees him, she quickly closes the door. Kun Kao asks, "Why are you ignoring me?" Duchess replies, "You already know my condition. Did you come here to scold me?" But Kun Kao says, "No, I just came to cheer you up." Meanwhile, Sky and Jam are eating together when Sky notices Krathing trying to take some clothes. Jam immediately tries to stop him, but after struggling for a while, Krathing finally manages to get the dress. Inside the room, Duchess asks Kun Kao, "Aren't you angry with me?" Kun Kao tells her that he has known her since they were children. Hearing this, Duchess suddenly starts crying. Kun Kao looks at her in confusion. Meanwhile, Sky sees Krathing dressed like a girl and is completely shocked. Jam also sees him and says, "This girl stole my clothes!" Sky immediately stops Jam. Krathing then asks another girl to open the gate for him. But when Jam takes a closer look, he realizes that this isn't a girl at all. It's Krathing. So Jam refuses to open the gate for him. Krathing keeps requesting the girl to open it, and eventually, he manages to get inside. Jam and Sky follow him. Krathing reaches Duchess's room and suddenly sees Duchess and Kun Kao hugging each other. He looks at Jam and says, "I told you a boy had gone inside." Jam immediately tells the two of them to come outside. Duchess is completely shocked when she sees Krathing wearing the dress. Once they come outside, Kun Kao starts taking selfies with Krathing and even calls him cute. Krathing stops him and asks, "Have you confessed your feelings to Duchess yet? You told me that you liked her." Kun Kao says that he still hasn't confessed. Krathing asks, "Then why were you hugging her?" Kun Kao explains that Duchess was crying, so he was just comforting her. Then he looks at Krathing and asks, "Are you jealous?" At this point, we get a flashback. Earlier, Kun Kao had almost kissed Duchess, but Duchess looked confused. So Kun Kao asked her, "Do you like someone else instead of me?" And from her reaction, he realized that Duchess actually liked someone else. Krathing then asks him directly, "Do you like her?" Kun Kao says yes. Krathing immediately becomes silent. Kun Kao smiles and then reveals the truth. "I don't actually like her. I was only doing all of this to test you." Krathing asks, "Why did you have to test me?" Kun Kao says, "Because I already knew you liked her." He reminds Krathing that when they were children, Krathing had used Kun Kao's name to give Duchess a pair of sunglasses. Duchess had even sent Kun Kao a thank you letter for them. That was when Kun Kao realized that Krathing was actually the one who liked Duchess. Krathing is shocked and asks, "How could you test me like that?" Kun Kao explains, "I knew you would never confess your feelings to her. That's why I had to do it." Meanwhile, Duchess thanks both of them for always being her friends. They tell her not to cry and assure her that they will always be her friends. Duchess remembers Krathing's words about how she was special to someone. Then the two boys smile and tell her, "We have a secret to tell you." They show Duchess a video and reveal that it is Honey's secret. Someone had sent the video to them, and now they decide that it is finally time to expose her. The next day, everyone goes to Honey and shows her the video. Honey is shocked and asks, "Where did you get this?" Duchess tells her to delete the video because they have more copies. Honey becomes furious and is about to slap Duchess. But Duchess warns her, "If you hit me, I'll post this video on social media and show it to everyone." Honey immediately starts begging them not to do it. Then one of them reminds Honey, "You did the exact same thing to Duchess." The two boys start teasing Honey, but Duchess stops them. She tells Honey, "I'm not going to post the video, but you have to promise that you'll never fight with us again." Honey agrees. The three of them leave together. Duchess then tells the boys that they shouldn't take revenge because revenge isn't a good thing. Hearing this, they smile and say, "You're such an angel." In the next scene, Honey is back at the Rich Club. Suddenly, the video reaches all the board members. In the video, Honey is seen smelling her nail and enjoying it. Honey immediately claims that the video is fake. She starts thinking that this must have been Duchess's doing. Then she confronts Duchess and says, "You promised you wouldn't tell anyone." Duchess asks, "What did I do?" Honey angrily slaps her. She is about to slap her again when Krathing suddenly arrives. Honey asks Krathing for help, but Krathing refuses. Everyone is shocked by his reaction. Then a girl comes and tells Honey, "You always wanted everyone to follow your orders, but I'm not going to do that anymore." Then we get another flashback, revealing that she was actually the one who recorded the video. She says that she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. "You became a member of the Rich Club, but you never deserved to be there." Prim looks at the situation and says that it feels like something straight out of a movie. Duchess then walks away. Krathing follows her and asks, "Are you angry with me?" Just then, Mimi arrives. She is about to say something, but Krathing immediately stops her. He says, "I don't want to know anything about her," and he walks away. Mimi then says that when they were children, Krathing used to use Kun Kao's name for things like this too. Meanwhile, Kun Kao approaches Honey. But Kun Kao has one weakness. Whenever he sees a girl crying, he starts crying too. So Kun Kao intentionally starts crying even harder. Soon, everyone runs into Krathing. Then he meets Tan, who is buying sweets. Tan tells him, "Sweets don't suit someone like you." Krathing then explains his situation. He asks Tan to imagine that when they were young, he liked someone, but that girl thought he was someone else. He asks what he should do. Tan tells him, "If that girl is really important to you, then go and tell her how you feel. Hurry up, it will be better for you." Krathing thanks Tan. He even gives him some drinks as a gift before leaving. Later, Krathing meets Prim and asks him about Duchess. The two of them then follow Duchess. When they finally get a chance to talk, Krathing tells Duchess that at first, he thought she wasn't his type, but every time I see you, I think you're beautiful. He then reveals that they had actually met when they were children. Duchess is shocked when she hears this. Krathing explains that when he was young, he had gone abroad to study. At that time, he met Kun Kao, who was very famous. Krathing used Kun Kao's identity because he wanted to tease Duchess. Duchess becomes even more shocked and asks, "Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" Krathing says that at first, he only wanted to tease her, but now I'm serious. He then asks her, "Do you like me?" Duchess doesn't say anything. Krathing keeps asking her again and again. Then Prim, who is standing behind them, tells Duchess to say yes. Krathing asks, "Can I hug you?" Duchess finally says yes. Krathing immediately hugs her and confesses all of his feelings. And just like that, the two of them finally become a couple. In the next scene, Krathing tells his grandfather everything about the Rich Club. After hearing everything, his grandfather decides to shut the Rich Club down. Meanwhile, Honey intentionally keeps crying all day and stays with Kun Cow. Later, we see Duchess and Krathing distributing food together. The two of them look extremely happy while working side by side. And finally, the drama ends with our main couple happily together. So, how did you like this drama? Don't forget to let me know in the comments.